starting a business is another relationship. And sometimes even, I don't want to say more important, but when you're starting out, a significant other needs to understand that you're going to need to be in your business, missing holidays, missing birthdays, whatever, doing whatever it takes.
The GenTech podcast discussing business, investing, and marketing.
Hey guys, welcome back to the GenTech Marketing podcast, bringing you valuable and inspirational discussion with top business owners. This week, we have on Marc Devisse, who is the CEO and founder of Chi-Town Construction in Fort Myers. Today, we're going to be talking to him about his background, some advice he has to aspiring business owners, how he got started, and how he uses social media in his business. So, Marc, thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate the invite and look forward to diving deeper with you.
Of course. So first I'll get started in asking, where are you originally from?
So I was born in Chicago, and I left there with my parents' decision that we left when I was 8. So I've been in Southwest Florida for almost 30 years. And, at first I was disappointed, but I'll never leave Southwest Florida now. It's just, I have my family here, and just the roots that I've placed here are just, never going to leave.
So tell us a little bit about your background and how you really found construction. Was it in your interest of building, or how did you get into this industry?
So my forte is really business, not necessarily construction. And I always knew from the growing up and even at a young age that I wanted to own my own business. I just never knew what that business was going to be. When I was 13, I got my first job. Even before then, I tried to start a pet sitting business out of my home, selling candy on the bus. I was always trying and intrigued with business. My mom is very good at business. She's in the real estate business. My dad is very good at relationships and not necessarily business. And I learned from them the good things and the bad from each. And I just try to incorporate that in my life, and learning a lot from them, good and bad. So just entrepreneurship and business owner was always what I wanted to do. It wasn't until I was in college that I found a building company and a broker in Southwest Florida, who I started working with and learning from. And that was around '04. The economy here in Southwest Florida was just booming. There was, construction, real estate, mortgages. That's what everybody was in, especially if you were around my age. And, so I kind of started trying to go to real estate. I didn't like it. I just really loved the, before and after of a project, just seeing what we could do. And I really enjoyed the business part. I fell in love with the construction part. And '06, '07, the economy started turning around. And my boss at the time said, "You know what, Marc, I love you, man, but we got no work. I can't pay you to just sit around." So I went out on my own. I found a partner who knew a lot more about construction than I did. And we went out and we started doing $1,000 jobs here, $1,500 jobs there. All of a sudden I closed a $10,000 job, and I thought I was on top of the world, calling everyone I knew and, "Hey, we made it. But it was just, the economy is turning around then, '08, '09. It's just the worst economy that we've had since I was alive, or since I know of. And it was just tenacity, kept landing small jobs, being creative, pivoting our business plan, just never giving up. You got to have a driving passion to do it and never giving up, because it could have been very easy at any point to just say, "Hey, it's too hard," or "It's not worth it," or, there's many opportunities for that.
So as an entrepreneur, it seems like you were trying to get in a bunch of different industries, just trying to, make money and work hard. So did you have any prior businesses that you tried to start, or, any failures before you had the successful Chi-Town construction?
Well, I started Chi-Town when I was 21. So before then, there was never really any serious businesses. as I mentioned, I tried pet sitting. I printed like 1,000 flyers, and then someone told me I spelt pet sitting wrong. So I had to.
It's so great.
I guess that was not a great. That was a great lesson, but other than that, I've never tried to start. I've had a lot of ideas, a lot of other small things here and there, but I never really pushed to really try something different. Um, and Tri-Town Construction, I just never gave up. Again, it could have been very easy to just give up. I'm 21 years old, you know, very young. I'm trying to get in rooms with people who are building huge projects, and they're all looking at me. I was late to get braces. I had braces, 21 years old, wearing glasses, and everyone's like, where's your dad? Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
And I'm trying to get in the room with these, big players in Southwest Florida, and just never really seeing the issue, and just continue to try and try, and eventually we got opportunities, people noticed, and just continuing to grow and do what we say, yeah, do what we say.
So being in that room at 21, feeling so young, like with all these older people, how did you like, make your mark and be confident? I know there's so many young business owners now, and I think that's more normal, but probably back then it really wasn't. So, how did you
Sure.
feel that you knew what you were talking about?
So I didn't do a lot of talking. I just did a lot of listening. People noticed my work ethic. People noticed what we were accomplishing, and I didn't brag about it or talk about it. I just let people see what we were doing, and we we got noticed, and customers and clients, they liked the underdog story, so we were able to do that a lot. And people gave us an opportunity. They saw that we were working hard, and they wanted to give us a try, and we're thankful for it, because without them, we would have never, kept growing and kept climbing. And now today, when I see people that remind me of me, or younger with work ethic, I always give them the opportunity and see if I can help them out, like people did for me.
So who would you say your mentor was back then? And obviously, they made you want to be a mentor for others.
My first boss, Rich Galvano, he really taught me a lot. He still to this day, I can call him anytime and ask him questions, bounce things back and forth. He really taught me to think creatively, and there's always a solution. And it's easy to just say it can't be done, or it's too hard, but there's always a way, and you just got to figure it out. And with that mentality, I would say one of my biggest strengths is figuring stuff out. I can find a problem, see a problem, and we can work to a solution. And without the roadblocks of thinking it's going to be too hard or can't be done, it can be done, and we're going to find a way.
I love that. That's really great motivation for everyone. So can you tell us now what Tri-Town Construction looks like? Like, what projects do you guys work on now? Where are you guys in your career?
Sure. So our projects now range from 500,000 to 2 million, and we are about 30 people in our company. We range from all of Southwest Florida, Marco Island, to Cape Coral, and here in Southwest Florida, and throughout the country where construction is booming. So the issues that we're facing now are material shortages. We're facing labor shortages. The business is there, so it's a different problem that we've had in the past. In the past, it's the business that we need to find, and we have plenty of material and labor. So now we just have a different scenario that we got to figure out. So we're adapting to the market. We're doing a lot in-house, and just changing the way we do things to adapt to the current situations that we're in.
Yeah, and I think honestly, so many businesses are facing that right now, and it's hard because it's so uncontrollable, completely out of your control. At least when you were trying to find more business, that was in your control. You could show yourself, but with the labor and the material shortage, what do you see for the future? Like, how is that going to affect companies?
Well, you got to figure out, we're trying to figure out different ways of building, whether it's not using wood trusses or using less windows or being able to build trusses ourselves. Metal buildings are becoming more popular. So it's just adapting, with high gas prices, more electric cars are coming out. It's the same in construction. Pricing for a certain material is going to keep going up, and eventually somebody is going to find the technology to replace that material. And we are keeping our eyes open for that and to see what that next material is going to be, or labor, or wages keep going up. People are going to work themselves out of a job, and technology somehow is going to figure out how to replace them. I mean, it's just, is it going to be in my lifetime or the next? I don't know, but it's going to happen.
I actually saw on TikTok, it was like, like the wooden beams people have on their ceiling. Instead
Hmm.
of it being wood, they used styrofoam and they stained it, and it honestly like looked the exact same. So
The
people are like,
majority of those beams are not wood. They're all made with some kind of styrofoam, or a majority are made with
oh,
some
that's
kind of plaster or styrofoam. It's very deceiving.
yeah.
If anyone were to knock on it, it would be hollow. The majority of them.
So I
So
guess
things like that. You're not using a big wood beam anymore. There's a lot of examples like that you are changing.
so. Can you tell me about any setbacks that you've faced in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I've had several, like learning on my own dime, learning at a young age, starting at such a young age. I never really worked for anybody else through the larger projects that we're doing and have been doing. So a lot of it's been learning on my dime, and that comes with mistakes. And I would say the biggest one, we were 3 years in, or the biggest one that comes to mind, we were 3 years in, and it was completely my fault. I didn't do the proper paperwork for workman's comp, and the workman's comp board came to our job site after their investigation and everything. We hadn't paid myself and my partner properly through payroll, so we weren't paying workman's comp on our wages. They ended up charging us about $45,000 fine. And when you're 3 years in, kind of living customer check to customer check, and they shut you down until you pay $45,000, that was a pretty hard thing to overcome. So I don't know how we did it, but one of our customers offered to float us the money, and we were able to get back in business. And, you know, that was a very, very difficult, just over some silly paperwork. And, well, not so silly paperwork, but some paperwork that I overlooked, and it cost us. So, and that's inexperience. I was very young, and I hadn't done that before or worked for someone else to do that kind of thing. And, figuring it out, I wasn't as good as I am today. I didn't figure it out right.
Definitely. But, those experiences you learn so much from, because I agree, something that could seem so insignificant, it's crazy, the results that
Hmm.
you have. So what would you like say to, entrepreneurs who are trying to figure this stuff out on their own and making mistakes? What advice would you have for them?
So I have a little bit, two things. I would say it's go work for somebody else. My dad used to always tell me, and I never listened. You don't need to start at 21 yourself. Go start for a bigger firm. Learn from them. Let them pay for the mistakes. And the second, if you don't want to do that, if you're still stubborn and you just want to go out on your own, get help from coaches. If you can afford to pay a coach, great. If you can't, there's so many resources around here we have the College Florida Gulf Coast University. They offer free coaching with great, great people who have been in business for a long time, and it's completely free. So find free resources. The worst that will happen is your coach will hold you accountable. But the best that will happen is that you'll shave years of learning where you could have tried to figure it out yourself, but instead you have somebody who's been there, who wants to help you, and who will just shave years of issues that you could not figure out yourself until you learn from experience.
Were these coaching opportunities available for you when you were starting out as 21?
I don't know. That's a great question. I didn't go out looking for them. They were probably available, but I was more stubborn. I felt like I could do it myself. I felt like I didn't need help, and what a mistake that was. I could have easily just been way more advanced at that time, and know that there's people out there who are who have so much information that I could have learned from for free, that it just that's probably one of the biggest regrets that I have starting out, is not getting a mentor immediately, not getting coaching immediately. It just me figuring stuff out on a daily basis on what I think is the best way to do it. And I'm still, not so much anymore, but in the past I was fixing things that I had done years before, and I could have just done it right the first time.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And that will just save you so much time doing it right the first time. But I do think people, they have to make the mistake to learn from it.
Right. And yeah, there's a lot of that too. I was a finalist a couple of times for Young Professional of the Year. That was great. I just was a finalist again for Entrepreneur of the Year.
Oh, wow.
So, just those are some of my better business accomplishments. I'm really proud of the team that I've built. I'll give myself credit for that, putting the right people in the right place. And, I got a 14-year-old son, so that's probably my biggest accomplishment.
How do you build the right team? I mean, obviously now there's not too many options for labor. It's really hard, but how do you find that strong team?
People over profits, just treating people right, and recognizing talents, and letting talent do their thing. It's hard for me to step back and let people just do what they're great at, but I'm learning a lot there. And Tri-Town is running extremely well, and I'm less involved today than I've ever been. And I don't want to say that that's the reason, but it could be the reason. I have a lot of great people. They're doing their thing. They're rewarded for it. They know the goal, and I'm letting them, they have, I'm not a micromanager. I'm performance based, and just happy to let them do what they're great at.
What would you say like the best thing or the importance of having a strong team that you can rely on and trust is when being an entrepreneur?
Well, you're not great at everything. You can't be. No one can. So I focus on what I'm good at, and I hire people who complement what I'm not good at. And, so now we have a very well balanced team where everyone's good at certain things. And yeah, maybe we overlap and we're all good at certain things as well, but we're not all good at everything. And letting everybody excel where they excel, and letting them work, just kind of continues to propel us to the next level.
And I wanted to also ask, how do you create motivation for your team? Or even first, how do you create motivation for yourself and then, put that towards your team?
Yeah, motivation for myself. I guess my motivation is the potential for failure. I don't want to fail. I've put too much work into Tri-Town, and I want to see it. I want to see what we can do with it and how big it can get. And I think, just me being around my staff and showing them, where we want to go and what we want to do, and they all buy in. So, we're all in it together, and they see that I work hard, and they see that I'm not going to give up, and it kind of bleeds out into them.
How do you stand out from your competitors as a construction company?
I would say that we stand out everyone says quality and, that kind of stuff. But really, I think it's us giving back to the community and building those relationships inside our, market, and just, doing what we say, and just, number one is just giving back, and people over profits is, like a term I try to use. And I'm not, we're not, the bottom line is very important, but there are things that are more important.
I love that. The people over profits. I think that's super important, especially, with your team, and then also just the local community that you're in. It's super important. So you are really involved in Fort Myers.
Yeah, we're in Fort Myers, all of Southwest Florida, really. I live in Bonita Springs. A lot of our work is in Naples. So I look at our market as Southwest Florida.
Mhm.
Our office happens to be in Fort Myers, but we work, it's probably 100-mile, 50-mile radius of where we work. So we try to give back everywhere we work, sponsoring sporting events or kids events or throwing fundraisers, whatever we can do. If someone needs help, we always step up.
And would you say that's one of the skills that you found vital to your career, or what are some other skills that you think are, super important to have being in your position?
I would say the number one is being able to uh, adapt to different scenarios and things that come up, because there are always different. I mean, who would have predicted COVID? Who would have predicted, a recession? Who would have, you know, a hurricane? We've lived through Irma here, which was really bad. Several other hurricanes, and no one's doing luxury remodeling right after a hurricane. So it's just always trying to adapt, tenacity, not to give up. And, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan, and, his term is burning desire. You have to have a burning desire in what you're doing, or you will not succeed, or you will not, as your full potential, because it's just so easy to hit roadblocks and just say, oh, you know what, I can't figure it out, or, oh, Irma hit, we got to shut down, we can't do any remodeling. It's easy to do that. It's easy to shut down. It's easy to say, I give up, so adapting and tenacity are essential.
I love that. That's really great advice for everyone, I think. I want to pivot over to social media and how your clients find you. So, what current social media methods does your company, Tri-Town Construction, use?
So I have a 3-person social media team. We believe in it greatly. And our social media is more sharing content experience. I always say it's not buy me, buy me. It's look at us, look what we're doing. Here's some advice. Here's some things on how to fix your gutters or do it yourself projects at home. Just kind of getting our name out there and being top of mind. So when someone does think they need a remodel project or a construction project, they'll at least call us and say, is this something you guys do? And if it is, great. If it's not, we help them and refer them to someone who does, so, and we don't put, 24.99 special, we're just we're there. You call us when you're ready. And, pictures of our projects are huge. I think that's helps a lot. And, just also being interactive, and it's not just Tri-Town Construction's page, it's the leaders of Tri-Town Construction, it's the people of Tri-Town Construction that we interact and we support, and other business share other businesses information, building almost a referral network of people that we admire.
And how do you get your referrals from, your happy clients? Do you ask them to leave reviews or ask for any video referrals?
We would love to get to that point. We're just not there yet. I think that was great marketing strategy. I think we deal with and this is just an excuse of a limiting belief maybe, but we deal with a lot of semi-older people who are remodeling. Could they be uncomfortable on video? Maybe, but we haven't asked, so I can't really say that that's the reason.
Yeah. But I love what you said. I think it's so important, and GenTech Marketing does the same thing. We love giving out free advice and tips and anything to help people, because I really do believe that, giving all that free information, it will never hurt you. It will only help you, because people do really appreciate that. So as much value as you can give to people, without actually having to build their house, you just got to give everything, and
Sure.
people will appreciate that and come to you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess some people are scared about giving out information. What if they go do it themselves? But we're the experts in the industry, so you can try to do it yourself, and more power to you. But are you going to be learning from your mistakes or the experience that we have, which is really the mistakes that we've learned from?
Definitely. And that's so perfectly said. What are the best resources you think that have helped you along the way to, build up your company and build up your team?
I would say the best resources, some of them probably for me, Florida Gulf Coast University and the business division that they have there with the SBA, just working with them and coaching, other coaching, learning, having an actual coach that you meet with on a weekly basis, monthly basis, just so you're being held accountable by somebody, and that alone makes you, one day when you want to sit on the couch and not do anything, but you got a coach call coming up and you haven't done any of your homework or anything that you said you were going to do, that gets you up and that gets you going. So it just helps. And yeah, I would say that would probably be one of the best resources.
So how long have you been in this coaching program?
Probably around 3 years now. I picked up and started, reading and getting coached and Tony Robbins, and I really dive into more different opportunities as well. And it's very motivating, and you understand that there's people light years ahead of you that can, if you learned a little bit from them, you just improve so much.
Mhm. And you were saying your social media team. Do you guys run any ads? Do you know?
Yeah, we run some ads. We're not as good as we probably could be. We do it by the geography area, not necessarily demographics or anything. So, 5 miles, 10 miles from our office or from a job site. And our most successful ones are when we do a community event, we have pictures, we share it, and then also pictures of a before and after picture of jobs. Those are always great content for people to enjoy.
Yeah, I definitely think there is so much opportunity in your business to, run Facebook ads or Instagram ads, because, I took a look at your website, and these pictures are beautiful of these homes, and you also do commercial, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. Yeah, so I'll do a live walkthrough through a job or a restaurant sometimes. I would say, consistency is a big problem of ours, because when we're slow, we'll go do some Facebook marketing. But when we're busy, that's the one thing that kind of slips off. But it's important to continue marketing and advertising even when you are busy, and so you don't get slow.
Mhm.
And that is probably an issue with me and our company, is consistency on things like that, where, hiring an outside agency is probably where you become more consistent and really great content that builds on each other, rather than starting from scratch when we have time.
Definitely. I think as an entrepreneur too, you want to focus on the stuff that you need to do. So sometimes it's just so much easier to give that social media. You can't be an expert in everything, as you said. You get people to work with you that complement what you're not good at. So I think that's why having marketing agencies sometimes can be really helpful, and especially with your business.
Agreed. I have a marketing background, so I feel like I'm pretty good at it. I got a degree, and even then, I'm, on the verge of outsourcing it because I know what's good marketing, and things change so quickly that it's hard to keep up and, be on the front. Being the best at it when you're not in it every day is difficult.
So I think it's about time to wrap up the podcast, but I do want to ask first a few more questions. Do you have any plans for the future? What do you see Tri-Town Construction as, in 10 years?
In 10 years, I see that we are continuing to doing what we're doing, but bigger projects in Southwest Florida. I don't see a need or want to leave Southwest Florida or expand out of it. I think there's plenty of market for us, and just continue improving and being, deepening our roots in Southwest Florida.
And lastly, what's advice, one last thing of advice for aspiring business owners that you really want our listeners to know and understand?
Yeah, so I would say that starting a business is another relationship, and sometimes even, I don't want to say more important, but when you're starting out, a significant other needs to understand that you're going to need to be in your business, missing holidays, missing birthdays, whatever, doing whatever it takes. So make sure you have that burning desire to start a business. And it's not just to say I started a business. You need to know that you're going to it's not an overnight success. It's not an overnight thing. It's a lot of work, and you need to make sure that you love what you do. And then it's not a day of work. You're just doing what you love, and every day is enjoying life. And some days are better than others, but that's what makes the great days great.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm just going to recap everything we talked about. So again, this is Marc Devisse. He's the owner of Tri-Town Construction. We talked about how he got into this business, started at 21 years old. This company is 16 years old now. He talked about, the different ways of building because of the market and how adaptation is so important because things change all the time in this world, honestly. We also talked about going to work for someone else first before becoming an entrepreneur, because how much you can learn from that. And, but if you don't want to do that, the other advice that we have is get help from coaches and use these resources, even free resources. Having a mentor is so important when being an entrepreneur because, sometimes you can feel alone, but at least you have someone else to ask these questions because, sometimes you do have to make mistakes to learn from them, but it is better to have someone to help you not make that mistake. Marc talks a lot about people over profits, which is, something I love so much, and having a good team and how that really helps and implements and affects your business. You said your motivation is potential for failure, and you talked a lot about giving back and, having that burning desire to be that successful entrepreneur and how that will get you through. So where can our listeners find you online? What's your social media?
So for me, it's at Marc Devisse, and then Tri-Town Construction at Tri-Town Construction.
And you can find us at GenTech Marketing on all social media. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.